it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back.
Woo! Whoa, hold on. It's Tuesday. We're here, Lou, Chandler, me. Let's run it back. Why is Chandler already laughing and we haven't even started yet?
Lisa always says right before, have a good show, and I hit her with her own thing today right before.
Ooh, you double zapped her. I love that.
Just a little game within the game, Michelle.
Yes. Staying on our toes, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot of basketball to get to. Of course, Jalen Johnson returns to the show a little bit later on. But first of all, Denver had those ugly jerseys last night, and I think they're bad luck because they got absolutely slaughtered on the floor by New York. OG Anunoby, not just defense, ladies and gentlemen. He threw up 40 points, career high. Cat with 30, 15 rebounds. Jalen Brunson had 17 of their record-tying 45 assists. Russell Westbrook, there's a nice positive, 27 points off the bench, but it was after the game when Jamal Murray had something to say about this particular loss. Here he is.
I just think it's a long season. Guys have lives outside of basketball. You know, we just beat LA in LA. Got some guys that are live in LA, you know, so stayed in LA. And like I said, I don't think the focus was there from everybody. And that's what happens when you don't have the focus.
Okay, now there was clarification, you know, everybody stayed in LA. It wasn't like a couple dudes just partied and that was it. But, you know how fans react and people react and talking heads react. Lou, what did you think about it?
Yeah, I think he just misspoke, you know, so because this is customary, you know, you play a game in certain markets, it's customary for everybody to stay or some guys stay as long as you got time to get back and get prepared for the next game, you know. And as far as him saying that there was a lack of focus, you know, when you have a big win like that in Los Angeles and, you know, you take the liberty as men to stay overnight, you also have a responsibility to get back to your market in time to lock in for the next game, you know. And only time that these things get mentioned or they get blown out of proportion is that next game when you play and you go out and you get your ass kicked, then everything becomes magnified. And I think that's what we're dealing with here. Those guys stayed in LA. Listen, if you're playing somewhere, if let's say they're traveling to Utah, it's customary, it's standard for them to fly in the day of. So them staying in LA, flying back to Denver the day before the game, that's standard. There's nothing glaring about that. The only thing that changes that narrative is if you play that next game and you get your ass kicked, there has to be something to blame. Nobody's going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Nobody's going to care that you have lives outside of basketball. Nobody cares. They're trying to figure out cause and effect. Why did this happen? And as a result of that, this LA thing is coming up, them staying there and them doing whatever it is that they're doing. Who knows? Like you said, some of those guys live there. So it's not necessarily always about partying. It's about having a night where you can spend the night in your house. Or if your kids are still staying there and your family, it's about staying there with your family. It's just, you know, having an extra night in your own bed and just being comfortable before you get back to the market that you play in. And so, you know, when you're having a team like this that's struggling, criticism is going to come. You know, this is the first time in the Denver Nuggets history we've had some drama outside of the basketball court with this team and Mike Malone and Jamal Murray. And so, you know, I know fans are going to feel how they feel about it, but this is a lot about nothing to me, in my opinion.
Yeah, this travel thing got blown way out of proportion. First of all, this is planned ahead of time. So win or lose that Lakers game, that plane was already planning on staying overnight. And a lot of coaches will do this, especially with a vet team like the Nuggets, where yeah, let's have a little night in LA. Let's let our hair down, relax, but you better come and you better focus. You better come with it the next day. And sometimes after a big win, a coach will give you shoot around off and you just meet at the gym a little bit earlier that day of game day. So this to me is pretty normal. I think like Lou said, when you do get this freedom and this flexibility, and then you go out and you lay an egg and give up 145 points and get blasted, now, I don't think they're going to stay again next time. And I think clearly that they had a good time. I think they partied. I think they took advantage of that night in LA. But to me, this travel thing, this is customary. This was scheduled. The minute that schedule came out, they knew that they were staying in LA that night. They might know another time they're staying in a certain city.
New York?
They
a lot
planned
of people
this
stay in New York?
Yeah. New York, Miami, and there's certain cities you want to get the hell out of after a win or a loss. So this is normal to me. I just think they might have taken a little bit too far and then got blasted and got exposed.
In any hometowns too, Chandler. Anybody, whatever your hometown is, not necessarily just the hot cities where people like to party. You could be from Memphis, Tennessee. We like to talk about it. If a guy is from Memphis and there's a day or two gap, he's probably going to stay home and he's going to hang out with friends and family and do all of those things. But, you know, like we just alluded to, you have a responsibility as a pro to prepare yourself for the next game in the next city and to show up and prepare and be ready for that game. And if you don't, it's going to be a discussion made. And like Chandler said, now the next time they come to LA, there's going to be a conversation about them not staying. They're going to move on to the next city, no matter what it is.
No,
and not to mention, Michelle, even like when James Harden, we'd play in LA, maybe the team went somewhere else. He would stay in LA with his family. Dwight Howard would stay in Atlanta with his family. I would stay in Orlando with my family. It's like there's certain guys and there's certain organizations that kind of give you that flexibility. So when you're the Denver Nuggets and you're a vet, you're a proven team, your schedule might be a little different than the Toronto Raptors this year, than these rebuilding teams. So this to me is so normal. It's just they kind of expose themselves by playing like shit the next game.
Would we have ever known if he had not said we stayed in LA? I mean, I know it's customary because I traveled with teams before. We
would have known if they won.
No,
if they won, this wouldn't have been a conversation. Nobody would care.
Gotcha.
Or unless TMZ happened to get one of them leaving a bar or something happened. But no, this is only a story because they gave up 145 points and the Knicks blasted them. If they won the game, even if it was a tight game, I don't think this would be an issue.
Simple. I mean, look, at least it was the Knicks. It could have been worse. This could have been to an actual, like, really bad team. It wasn't, but 145 points is 145 points. And Mike Malone said that they got embarrassed. That's the quote. And that you don't just flush a game away when you give up 145 points. So, you know, we just spent a couple weeks or a week talking about how bad Denver is without Jokic. Now they're back out there. I don't know. Is there something more here, Chandler? Or are we just going to say, I know he doesn't want to flush the game. Is it just one bad game?
Well, it's funny because we even on this show yesterday, we said most of these games, the NBA season is so long, you just have some horrible games where you don't even watch film the next day. You kind of keep it moving. You learn, you grow about, you talk about it, but you just move on to the next game. Not this. Not when you give up 61% from the field. Not when you give up 52% from the three. You give up a 40 ball to their fourth best player, and you give up 145 points. Like this one, you're going to have to take your licks and film the next day. You're going to have to embrace this one. And again, at the end of the day, it is still one loss, but where we stand. And this one kind of stings for a little bit longer than just a normal L.
Hey, Chandler, what's the deal with your internet service there in Florida? Is that some weird backwoods thing you got going on? Like, what is this? Yeah, got a little satellite dish somewhere you can aim it.
Yeah, I move rooms.
Hey, and Beadle, and you know what else? And if we're gonna look at the numbers,
I'm gonna have to move at a commercial break.
Look, and if you look at it, 118 points is plenty to win a basketball game.
Sure.
This is about their defensive effort. Like, you don't give up all-star game numbers to this team. You know, 145 points is a ton. So you're a pissed off coach when you're Mike Malone and you put 118 on the board and you still lose by 27 points. You know, that's the problem he's having. You know, 118 on a lot of nights is going to get you wins in this league. So to score 118 and to lose by 27 points, we need to have a conversation. We're not flushing this down the toilet because our defensive effort isn't there.
And it was 145 is crazy. But you know what? We focus so much on Denver. Well, they lost this game. The Knicks came out and really showed something. OG having that kind of a point production is just such a beautiful thing to watch. So most impressive win of the season so far?
It's one of them. You know, I can't recall, but they went out and just smacked the hell out of Denver, and they realized they saw a team without Jokic in front of them, and they were going to make a statement, especially on the road. I'm not sure how many games they got out there on the West Coast, but if I'm gonna tap into my expertise, you know, they probably have 4 or 5 games out on the West Coast, and the point of emphasis right now is, hey, let's clean up as many of these West Coast wins that we can before we go back home. You know, we're going to be out here on the road for a minute. Let's go back home with a great feeling. And if this is the first game of that West Coast road trip, a lot of times that game is the one that's going to set the tone for the rest of your trip. So I'm not sure where they played before.
I'll
before
tell
this
you.
game.
I'll
But
tell
if
you,
it was-
Lou. They got embarrassed by Utah. They got embarrassed by Utah the game before.
Go.
That
Utah-
probably left a bad taste.
Yeah, because again, you don't want to go back to New York City down 3 or 4 games from your West Coast trip. You know, so losing a game that you probably predicted that you're going to win, that you expected to win, against a young Utah team that's had their struggles, and you get whooped out there in Utah, and your next city is Denver. See, that's a team they very much like Denver. Now the New York Knicks are in a position like, hey, we can't get embarrassed again. We got to go pedal to the metal. And that's the Denver team ran into that. They didn't read the room and they weren't prepared for it. So, you know, is this one of their most impressive wins? Who knows? You know, they're going to have a bunch like this, but I can just speak to points of emphasis and where they are on this West Coast trip.
There was another game last night that I wanted to be a better game than it turned out to be, but it was Celtics Clippers, and good Lord, Celtics won very easily in this one. They hit 22 threes. Jason Tatum with 20 points. Kristaps Porzingis is back. There he is. 16 points in 23 minutes. Zubats with 23 points, 10 rebounds, but 22 threes is what we're going to focus on, Lou. 12 of those came in the second quarter. This will be the conversation, I would imagine, for the rest of the season, because people love it or hate it, but there's a lot of opinion on shooting this many threes. Who's stopping them if this is how they are?
It's not a lot of teams that have this identity, especially in the Eastern Conference. You know, everybody is trying to mock the Golden State Warriors in the way that they've been able to have championship runs of success with playing behind the three-point line. And one of the things that the Golden State Warriors had were the top 2 best three-point shooters in NBA history, in Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. And the Celtics they've used that style of play to match them, because they have a lot of guys that can shoot the basketball, and they have 2 of the most elite jump shooters in the game who've extended their reach out to the three-point line, and that's the style of play that they play. I don't see a lot of teams beating them when they're hitting like this, you know, but when we start talking about the Boston Celtics, we always say this is their Achilles heel. They shoot too many jump shots. So when you have a team that loves to play behind that three-point line, loves to play in the mid-range, and they shoot at a high level, and they hit 22 on you in one night, it's going to be extremely difficult to beat this team, no matter who you are.
22 threes. You know what? I can't decide if I love or hate it. I mean, I figure if you just stop it, but you can't. Kristaps Porzingis, though, did make... I don't know. Like, sometimes it's fun to watch just because you feel like you're watching a video game. And then other times it feels like just an insurmountable mountain that no one else is going to be able to conquer. And now they got Porzingis back. Oh, look, he moved the antenna. I'm so happy for you, buddy.
I'm from the shot room. Impressive shot collection, by the way. Tell Pops I'm impressed. I was trying to check him out behind.
That's all Big G.
Oh, that's way better. Okay, yeah, you're way better. All right, we're going to talk Kristaps now, Chandler, because he did make his big debut last night. They were 14-3 without him. I mean, a guy just wants to feel wanted. But now that he's back, this seems like everyone's kind of in trouble here. I asked Lou who's stopping him with the threes. Who's stopping him now with KP?
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's stopping them without KP. And now this guy just adds a whole nother dynamic. We know what he can do, shooting the ball, pick and pop wise. He did this last year too. When he missed some time, he came back. His return game was electric. It's the same thing he did last game. He's so good when he gets switches and he gets smaller guys that off the block post up, kind of faces you up. He shoots right over you. And last night you could tell some of these moves, he's been working. He was in great shape last night. He looks strong. He looks fit. This doesn't look like a guy that's missed a lot of time. So I know it's 23 minutes, 16 points. I think they're going to continue to build that up and get more and more reps for him. But as a guy that takes time off, that when you can't simulate real game action, he looked unbelievable last night. And he gives this great three-point shooting team even another piece where he's arguably their best shooter. So it's the rich got richer last night in Boston.
Dear Lord. No one's stopping him. This is problematic for the rest of the league.
Maybe the Knicks, if they could keep scoring 145 a night, but I don't see it happen very often.
And the Knicks still have to get Precious back because he didn't play. You got to get Mitchell Robinson back. Maybe
all of those guys make them 2-point shooters.
You know what I was thinking last night, too, Lou? I was thinking, do the Celtics see a game last night like the Knicks, and did they kind of put them on notice? Like, okay, this is what they're capable of doing, or just another game to Boston? They still got to beat us 4 times.
I think it's another game, bro. Like, especially you win a championship, you know, your arrogance kicks up 1,000 times. Your confidence kicks up 1,000 times when you win a championship. You like, shit, we're still the team to beat. Who are you guys? You know, I don't really see them peeking around the league as much right now than any other team. You know, I don't know, Chandler, what you think?
Yeah, I just think when there's that explosive last night, they're watching. They know the Eastern Conference again is kind of weak right now, right? They know the Cavs are hot right now, but I don't think the Celtics fear the Cavs by any means. So I think when you see a game where it all kind of comes together like this for New York, I think it does put them on notice a little bit, but nothing's changed in the beginning of the season. It's Celtics.
Like they're aware. They're aware of them, but they're not.
They're aware of what they're capable of. Yeah. They know, like, okay, wow, they have 4 guys that can go get 40. They have 4 guys that can go get 40. They can shoot the ball. Cat has made their offense so much better, but at the end of the day, it's business as usual for them.
It's good to be the top dog. Stay there. All right, we're gonna take a look at some of the top plays. Ooh, I like this. First up, a buzzer beater from Mr. Jaden Ivey.
Big time.
I love me a buzzer beater. Beep, beep.
This is great. This kid has made a huge leap from last year to this year too. He's in the talk with most improved. I mean, I don't know if this is a good look, but it's he made it, and that's the game. A key called game.
That's all that matters. That is
I don't know if that's what they drew up out of the timeout, though.
It don't look like that's what was drawn up at all. One foot leaner.
I liked it. I thought it looked very pretty. LaMelo Ball. I'm kind of curious what you guys think about LaMelo Ball, because he's been doing some video game stuff here in the last few games. And here's another one of those. He has scored 94 points in the last 2. Now they're losing, which is a problematic. What do we make of this? Because you know that's what's coming, right? It's like, it's super fun, it's great, but when does it translate into wins, Lou?
Yeah, who knows? You know, they got a nice young core. Him and Brandon Miller, they're going to be guys that's going to carry them to a lot of wins, we hope, you know, and sooner than later, they're going to have to start seeing that. They're going to have to start seeing those investments start to pay off for the Charlotte Hornets. You know, he's one of the more dynamic young players in the league. You know, he's still going through growing pains. As you could see last week, he was even benched in the 4th quarter by his coach, and they had a conversation. You know, there's still some maturity things that they're working through, but talent-wise, you know, he's one of the 5-6 top guards in the Eastern Conference, and you know, he's showing it. 94 points in 2 games, nothing to sniff your nose at, you know. But like you said, that has to start turning into wins instead of losses, and not just big stat nights.
Yeah, and earlier this season, I said something similar. I said, and the Hornets fan base got all over me. I said, I want to see him do this on a bigger stage. I want to see him do this on a relevant team. I want to see him on a big market. And I see these rumors that the Clippers would want him as the next big guard. Yeah. That makes me excited, because I want to see more of those highlights. That last highlight he just showed of us with that step back, that's something you bust out at the Drew League at the park. Like, that is an insane move. And he gets –
that's kind of the problem.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Which I don't know how many other teams he's taking that shot on. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's within the offense of a good team that he'd rather be on. But listen, the kid has game. He has talent. He has put people on notice this year. He's always been a big name because of the whole family, right? And the father and everything. Sure. Now he's a big name because he's a bona fide star. He's put himself in those all-star talks, even though their team hasn't won games. His numbers are, you can't deny them. And when you look at the Eastern Conference point guards, Maxey's been banged up, right? Tyrese Haliburton is taking us kind of a step back till last night. He went off. Jalen Brunson, I'm probably still taking over him. Dame Lillard, I'm still taking over him. But LaMelo Ball is right there. He has really put the league on notice this year. His numbers are insane. I just want to see him do it on a bigger scale on a winning team. And I don't know when that will happen or if it will happen in Charlotte.
There's only 2 point guards you're taking above LaMelo Ball in the East. Is that right? Is that what you just said?
I mean, listen, there's Drew Holiday, there's Darius Garland, there's I put him right there with like the Cade Cunninghams, the Trae Youngs. Like there's point guard position's loaded. It's loaded. But listen, when you're averaging 31 and 5 and 7, yeah, it's hard not to put you in that top 3, top 5.
Yeah, it's five. It's 5 guys in front of him for me. You know, I'll start with Trae Young. I say Trae Young. Trae has shown that he's a proven all-star caliber guard. He has the success to go with it. You know, he's had his ups and downs, but you know, he's led a team to an Eastern Conference final. So you give Trae the nod, you give Dame the nod, you know, you give a Garland the nod. Obviously, you give Jalen Brunson that nod, and then it gets tricky with Cade Cunningham. They're kind of in similar situations, but depending on style of play that you like, you know, you can go either way with these guys. You know, so I will put LaMelo Ball 4 or 5 in that race in the Eastern Conference.
Wow. Not bad. It would be kind of fun to see him on a legit team. Just what does all of this craziness
100%.
look like? Yeah, so maybe we'll get our wish. We're going to take a quick break. He is back on the other side. Jalen Johnson returns to the show. This is Run It Back.
Run it up.
All you haters be silent. All you haters be quiet.
He is back. Good morning, Jalen. Thanks for coming back on the show. Look, we got to get right to last night. A tough loss to the Mavericks. It was a 1-point game going into the fourth, and then Kyrie Irving just decided to go absolutely nuts. He was 5 of 20 before that, and then he went ahead and had 16 in the fourth quarter. Talk to me about watching that sort of happen and trying to stop it in real time.
I mean, it's tough for a guy like Kyrie. Everybody knows when he gets going, especially late in the game. You know, guys like that, of that caliber, you got to watch out for them taking over the games. And, you know, DYSON did a great job on them. But, you know, sometimes tough shot making beats tough defense. So that was a result of that.
Do you have a short list of guys in the league that are the toughest, in your opinion, to guard?
There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys that are crafty and creative with the ball. Kyrie being one of them, Shea being another. There's a lot of guys that are just doing a whole bunch of different things. You got Wemby who's 7'5", you know, dribbling and doing all that stuff. So there's a few guys that are a different type of matchup for you. But yeah, there's a lot of good guys in this league.
Now, JJ, you currently one of the favorites to win Most Improved Player early on in this season, and we former teammates. So I don't necessarily really want you focused or concerned with that. But what would that award do for you with just where your career has been so far? What would that do for you and your morale moving forward?
I mean, it's just going to motivate me to keep working harder. I think I'm a type of person who doesn't get complacent with anything. Where I'm at, how my last game went, you know, I don't like to dwell on things, and I just like to keep getting better each and every day. So that's just gonna add more motivation to what I do, and it's gonna make me hungry to get more things like that. So yeah.
I always wonder, because I feel like guys and women in team sports are sort of geared towards the championship. That is the end game. That is the goal. But you know, there's nothing wrong with also having individual goals set along the way. Do you do that? Do you even think about these types of things?
No, not really, not too much. Because at the end of the day, you see a lot of the guys who win these individual awards, their team has success. So I believe when your team is having success, all that individual stuff lines up. So yeah.
JJ, let me tell you something. You keep putting up 28 and 11, that award is yours, brother. So just keep doing exactly what you're doing. Now the NBA Cup continues tonight. The Hawks are at the top of East Group C at 2-1. You already had a big win over the Boston Celtics. How much motivation is there, obviously, to play in these play-in the NBA Cup games? Also knowing that the top dog Boston Celtics are in your bracket.
I mean, it's a lot more motivation, I think, just league-wide this year, because everybody's understanding the concept of this play-in and cup tournament going on. So I think last year was kind of like a little trial run, but everybody's understanding like the importance and how much these games mean, because everybody wants to go to Vegas and, you know, everybody wants to play for that $500K or whatever. So, you know, we got that first win. We just wanted to keep going with it, keep building off it. And then we got another one against Cleveland coming up. So we just got to lock in on those and, you know, hopefully we can come out on top.
I got to say, I love it as a player too. Having that playoff atmosphere, that playoff intensity in November and December is super dope to me. The courts. Well, what are your thoughts on the courts? I know some of them are real trippy. Are they distracting at all when you're playing? Is there a least favorite? Is there a favorite? I like the Raptors. That's pretty, and it pretty much stops right there.
Isn't the Atlanta one of the really red ones? Is that, or am I thinking of? Oh, thank God.
One.
Okay.
Yeah,
you're the yellow one.
The yellow one.
Okay,
yeah,
the yellow one.
Yeah, I wish we would have did like a red or something. But no, it's cool. The courts are cool. It's creative. It's fun. Some of them do throw you off a little bit. You got to get adjusted to them at first, but it's just a basketball court at the end of the day.
I feel that. Look, the Hawks are currently 11th in the East, but it's only 5 games separating the 3 to the 12 seed. Take me inside the what's the mentality of you guys trying to get back in that top 6? You know, walk me through the process of that, and what's the plan for y'all moving forward to do that?
Yeah, I think with Chandler and Lou, y'all know about in this league, you just gotta take each day by itself. You got to stack wins. You can't be looking too far ahead. You got to focus on the team that's in front of you. So that's what we got to do. We got to stay consistent through 48 minutes. You know, we're capable of doing it. We've shown it. So it's not like we haven't shown it what we're capable of doing when we're competing at our highest level. So I think if we just continue to do that and able to maintain it throughout the course of the game, I think we're gonna find ourselves back in that contention. So that's the goal. That's what I want to do, and that's what the rest of the team wants to do as well.
And JJ, part of the success you guys have had this year is your new teammate, Dyson Daniels. You mentioned him earlier. He leads the NBA in steals. Now, were you aware that the nickname "the Great Barrier Thief"? Are we rolling with that? do we actually call him that in the locker room? There's no chance, right?
Nah, I just call him Dyson. I don't really know where they got that nickname from, but
it's
cool.
Cute.
Yeah, that one ain't it.
Like
that one ain't it.
I kind of like it.
That one ain't it.
Yeah.
It's nerdy. It's a nerdy cute nickname. It's not good though. Okay, so we're not calling him that. Fine. No. The Sixers meeting, their big team meeting, got a lot of headlines, a lot of opinions thrown at it. The TYRESE MAXEY sort of not confronting, but just talking to Joel Embiid about punctuality. All of it was just huge. Have you been a part of many of those types of meetings?
Not really in my going on 4th year. I mean, every team has meetings, and where you're just trying to figure out what the next steps are as a team. Sometimes you don't need the coaches in there and all that. You just try to talk amongst it as players. Because at the end of the day, you guys are on the court. You guys are the ones fighting with each other, battling with each other. So you guys got to come together and figure that type of thing out. So, I mean, that's as normal as possible. It's just now the media heard that side of it. And, sometimes it can be blown out of proportion if, names get thrown in there or whatnot. But that happens all the time in the NBA. And I think it's good moving forward if you're trying to accomplish something as a team.
Hey, Fred VanVleet was fined $50K. And hold up, though. I think he caught a deal, by the way. This is a great number for what he did. This is an absolute steal. What is the maddest you've ever been at a ref during the game?
I can tell you, my maddest I've been at a ref, I ain't hit the little point. But nah, I don't really get mad at the refs like that. I mean, obviously sometimes you just let them have it sometimes. You just got to let the refs have it. But sometimes you just got to deal with the calls. I think I've gotten 2 takes in my career.
Okay.
Hey, man, listen, keep your money, but if you don't give it to them,
get
your money's worth. If you going to give them the cheese, get your money.
I got you. We yesterday, and listen, I love Fred, and I hate to see guys lose money, but we thought 5 games minimum. I mean, he mushed the dude in the face. He told them all they're trash. Like the $50,000, that is a gift. Because I thought it was going to be 3 to 5 games.
Is it possible the angle made it look worse? Like, did he not maybe actually touch him? Because it looked like he touched him.
Anytime there's contact, there's got to be I don't know how he got off of this.
Don't touch another person is the lesson here. Jalen, you come from a basketball family, mom, dad, brothers, everybody's out there hooping. First of all, one-on-one games growing up, how did those look? And who did you get more of your skills from, mom or dad?
Yeah, one-on-one games. Well, I played with my brothers. My brother played at UCLA right now. He's a senior, and my older brother, he played at Tennessee Chattanooga. So it was always competitive, always playing one-on-one in the backyard, the park, whatever. And I'd say I got most of my skill from both of my parents, for real. My mom got all the touch. My dad got the bounce. And my dad was the one, putting us through all the crazy workouts and all that. All the stories you hear about dads putting their sons through crazy workouts. That was my pops. But it all paid off in the end. So I'm grateful for all that.
It's a hell of a combo.
Answer. Yeah, that's a good one. Jalen, we love it. Thank you so much for coming back on. I know you got Cleveland tomorrow, so good luck.
Good
No,
luck, bro.
appreciate you, guys. Yes, sir.
Be
Yeah,
balling.
thank you.
We'll take a quick break. Point guard conversation, both conferences next. Well, we were talking a little bit about the point guards earlier in the show. So now we can bring in the West, shall we? So Jeff Teague said that De'Aaron Fox is better than Tyrese Haliburton. All right, Lou, buying that?
I buy it. You know, this is opinion. You know, this is an opinion-based take. And, you know, Jeff is on the 520 podcast, and he's going to do some things to get the people going. You know, I'm surprised that he went this route with Tyrese Haliburton being in Indiana right there in his backyard where all the people are. But, you know, this comes down to style of play. This comes down to like what you like and what you're into and the way that you look at the game and the way that you like to view it. And so I'm buying it. You know, I would prefer De'Aaron Fox over a Tyrese Haliburton. It's a lot of people that would prefer it the other way around. It just depends on who you like and what you love. And so I'm buying this.
Yeah, I think you can go either which way with this argument. I think it depends on, first of all, the structure of your team. If I'm the Phoenix Suns, I want Tyrese Haliburton. I need a set up true point guard guy that can get those guys in the spots to kind of be that floor general, right? And also Tyrese Haliburton, his numbers have taken a little bit of a hit this year. So sure, I'm buying it this year. Hallie's only averaging 17 and 9, while Fox is going for 28, 29 a game and kind of more of a explosive score. So there's so many good point guards in the league right now. This argument is this is a tough one because they're both so good and but they're also both so different. If I want a guy who can go get you 30, 40 a game, play fast, get on transition, I want Fox. But if I want a point guard, a true point guard, depending on the pieces of my team, I'm going Haliburton 10 times out of 10.
Oh, interesting. All right. Draymond Green said that in-season championship holds a lot of weight and should be valued. Crazy how a whole year later we all get it now. Chandler, are you buying that it should be valued? We just heard from Jalen. It's like the Vegas, the money, all of it.
I'm buying that it should be valued for sure. I think this is a great practice run for the postseason. This is great reps to get that intense, every possession matters game. Now, is it going to be valued like the NBA championship? No, that's what you play for. You play for that big one in June. Now, as cool as this is, and again, the atmospheres, the courts, I'm all in on the NBA Cup. I just don't know if a guy's 50-50 on playing and it's the NBA Cup, is he going to give it a go because it's an NBA Cup semifinal game? Like, I don't know, because it's still going to be big picture win a championship, but it should be valued. It's better for fans. The games, like tonight's games will be better than last night's game just because they are NBA Cup games. That has made that drastic of a difference of a change. So I love it. They should be valued, but they'll never be as valued as much as an NBA championship.
Yeah, I'm buying, and I agree with Draymond. You know, if you're familiar with soccer and how those things work, like you have really good rival games that you can see in soccer during their in-season tournament where these games really mean a lot. And so, you know, we're very early on in this process of trying to understand what the NBA Cup is, what it's about, and what it can mean. And so for Draymond to say this, he's kind of trying to put the wheels behind it for fans to understand that, you know, this is something that's important and it should be valued. So I'm buying that, but we're very early in the process. I think as we go on and it catches steam, you know, it grows into the game where fans can love and appreciate it.
You know what it reminds me of, Lou? It's like what's, as a player, would you rather have been an all-star or all-NBA? Like, would you rather have a good 3 months of the season, or would you ever have a good full season and be all-NBA? You know what I mean? So they're both awesome. They're both cool, but I think I'd rather be all-NBA and have a full season than all-star, even though all-star I feel like carries more weight in a weird way.
Well, there's like a show. All-star has a whole show with it. Like
yeah.
Right. But this cup is turning into a show. I think that's why the Lakers have so much success in this cup. You know, you have one of the biggest showmen in the world in LeBron James and Steph Curry. You know, those are two guys that's always been championed as showmen as much as they are basketball players. And so I think that's why you see these two teams really put the pedal to the metal when it comes to this cup thing, because they realize this is a show. It's somewhat of a spectacle with the courts and all of that, and they want to be a part of it.
Fair enough.
And to top it all off, you get to go to Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best part. Kendrick Lamar with a new album, his 6th. He just, bam, it's out. Everybody saw it. Last 4 times he's released an album. This is where it gets interesting. The Warriors have won the championship. I love things like this, Lou. It's magic. Coincidence or future telling?
Coincidence. But you know what? for the sake of the argument, I'm buying, because if you listen to this album, it's a lot of Bay Area themed music on there. So listen, if they do have another championship run in them, they at least have a soundtrack for it in this Kendrick Lamar album. Shout out to Kendrick, shout out to GNX, dope album. A lot of Bay Area themed music that's on that album. So I'm buying. Who cares?
I love it. Chandler, I buy it. Come on.
I can't. I did listen to it on the drive to Orlando, and there are some bangers. I do like it. Does that mean the Warriors are going to win a championship this year? I just can't convince myself to buy this one, but I hope it pans out for them.
If it happens, then this is science. That's how it works. Like if you do it that many times,
if it happens, I'm making him do another album next year if I'm the Warriors. Like if this
every year.
And if it happens, they for sure have theme music on all of the floats for that parade, because it's a lot of Bay Area theme music on there.
This is awesome.
Hire him as the ambassador, like Drake is for the Raptors. Really just kick him while he's down.
First of all, the dude is suing people. I am so disappointed in how this has taken a turn.
That's another show, Peter.
That is so sad. I sue you all. All right. We did mention the Fred VanVleet in the last segment. It was only $50,000. And I say only, and it was for profane language, because when we talked about it yesterday, you two both were sort of under the expectation that there'd be some suspension involved. So are we shocked, Chandler? Do you think there should have been? Did they get it right? How you feeling?
I don't want to say there should have been, but I'm surprised But I'm surprised there wasn't. We said yesterday, I mean, I thought he was looking 3 to 5 games minimum, not because the verbal, that was almost funny. Someone did it last year. I don't remember who it was, but when you make physical contact with the ref, with another player, that kind of brings in a whole nother category of punishment. And so that's where I thought he was going to get really, hit heavy with a suspension. But listen, I don't know who his agent is or how he dodged this bullet, but good for him. Christmas is right around the corner, and he saved some bread here, because I thought for sure he was looking at a couple games minimum.
I felt like
maybe I'm with Beadle on this one. There may be another angle, Chandler, because if he made contact, bro, it's no way this is the only thing that he's getting. So maybe I would like to look into this and see, did he actually touch him? Because if you as much as brush past a referee, they're suspending you for a game. So I'm curious to know if he actually made contact, because I like Chandler. I felt like he made contact, but
looked like it.
Only
Could
for
you
this
just ask the ref, like, hey, did he touch you? If you ask the ref and he says he didn't touch me.
LaMelo Ball just got $100,000 for saying something.
He did say
that was inappropriate, but was that worse than anyway? So I was kind of basing it off that, and this is half of that. I don't know.
I'm thinking you asked the ref. He said, no, never touched me. Just got real close, pointed in my face. But I do. Did you guys get fined a lot? Like, have you ever had a big fine? No. Lou's so nice. But Chandler, I could see smarting off to the wrong one.
Yeah, I mean, I caught a few texts, not too many, but it was more that they missed the call, Michelle, and I was just letting them know that they were wrong. I'm right. Let's carry on.
Of course.
I mean, it's percentages, Beadle. I mean, I've had 1 or 2 blow ups, but over 18 years, only a couple is pretty good. So, but I've had a couple. I've got my.
I've never been tossed from a game. I've got, but also, a technical foul. It's $2,500. Like to say like F you is $2,500. Nah, I'll keep that money.
Oh, sorry. I went the other way. My bad. Jared, I thought it was a good deal. Sorry.
This next one is the craziest. Yep.
I kind of love it. Jared Allen, talk about sweet nice, was recently asked about the Cavs' expectations after the big 15-0 start. And the quote answer is, I think we want to make it to the conference finals.
You know what that means? Lou, I know this is your question, but you know what that means? That means we can't beat the Celtics. We can get to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's a hell of a season. And then even if we get swept by the Celtics, we got to the Eastern Conference Finals.
If I'm his teammate, I'm looking at him like, bro, what the hell are you talking about? But maybe
this is a crazy statement.
But listen, Chandler, all right, I'll take the cut off. I'll take the cut off of it. You can't have one without the other. You can't win the championship unless you make it to the conference finals.
I like it.
That's not what he meant. That's not what he meant.
Am I moving the goalpost?
No, I like it. I think you're doing well.
Nope.
Yeah,
That's
I don't know
basically
what
like the
this is about
Celtics.
here now.
That's like the Celtics fearing the Thunder so much this year, where they're like, you know what? Our goal is to win the East. Like, that's just a weird thing to say.
Kind of.
Like, it's what?
But is it not? Is it not
it.
sort of the messenger in this one? It is Jarrett Allen, and he is sort of like this sweet, kind of nerdy, innocent seeming
This has
guy.
nothing to do with sweet or nerdy. This has to do with everything. Listen, nobody says my goal is to go to the dealership and just test drive the car. Like, nobody says that. If I'm leaving my house and I'm going to the dealership, I want this car. Like, yeah, so for that to be your goal, or to say we just want to make it to the conference finals, I don't know what he was trying to convey on that one.
Maybe he's being sarcastic. Is he secretly sarcastic? I don't know.
By
I'm
the
just
way,
trying to figure it out.
All jokes aside, this kind of just shows you why everyone thinks who they are, where they are. It's because it's accurate. Everyone knows it's the Boston Celtics. And I think even people will still realize that the Knicks are still even more of a threat than the Cavs. So as hot as their start to their season was, this is how they think. How the hell can we not think this way?
It's a hell of a quote. No, I'm not going to lie. Chandler, you're up next. James Harden said he, KD, Russ, and Selge would have won at least 2 titles if they hadn't broken up over $4 million. You buying that?
Let's start with one. It's hard to sure. I hate when guys say this stuff like, "Oh, if Giannis wouldn't have got hurt," or sure, maybe that's a hell of a team. They knocked me out of the playoffs one year. They were unbelievable. Yeah, James Harden coming off the bench on this squad. This team was insane. So I wouldn't doubt them. They were so young. They were peaking. They had chemistry. They were homies off the court. Everything was going for them. So if honestly, I would buy it, but also there's probably 8 other teams that feel the same way that could say the same thing.
Absolutely. My last year with the Sixers, we took Boston to 7 games in the second round, and they went on to win the championship. And we felt like if we'd have kept that team together, we would have went on a run. Everybody has a scenario in their careers where you look back and you look at all the talent and the things that guys have accomplished individually over the league, and you say, damn, we all played together. If we'd have kept that together, we would have did X, Y, and Z. Now, this group, on the other hand, they had stuff, they did things that proved it. They were one of those type of teams. But to say at least 2, who would ever know? But I'm buying it in the sense of they did have a lot of talent on that basketball team, and they were really good. But who's to know?
I like the at least 2. It just opens it all up. Asia Wilson believes that WNBA players have the toughest schedule of any athletes, and here's why. They go from college hoops straight to the draft, straight to training camp, and then the season starts. So, Lou, you buying that?
I'm not buying that. Now, is their process of starting the season a little bit more difficult than everybody else? Sure, but even on the NBA side, you have the draft, and then the next week you're in mini camp, and then you're probably in another mini camp, then summer league, and then you might have a couple of weeks off. And so the process is very much similar, but as far as the toughest schedule, I don't know. They play short of, now they'll play 41, 42 games coming up in the next season. So that's a shorter stint, but the process, I'll give her that much. But toughest schedule in general, I'm not buying. On an NBA schedule, you're playing 4 and 5 days. Sometimes you're flying around, you're doing all of these things. Obviously we're flying private and we're doing all those things, but you're still moving around, you're still putting your body through the rigors. And so a lot of different athletic teams, I'm sure, have something to say about that, but I'm not buying. Now, I'll give her the process to start your career. I'll give you that much, but the toughest schedule of any athlete, I ain't buying that.
Chandler, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I'm not buying. I mean, NBA players, the schedules, think about this summer, guys that went to the finals, then they go to the Olympics, and they got to go to training camp. And then, again, the young guys that go from the March Madness to that grind of the combine and working out for teams. And then they go to training camp, and they're doing all the reps in training camp. They're doing the 2-a-days. They're doing all that. So, again, I think I respect all professional sports. They're all a grind. NFL schedules are insane. MLB, spring training, it's all to me a grind. But to say that they have the toughest schedule, I think
Their schedule was illuminated more this year because it was we all know the focus was so much hotter because of all the, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and all that stuff. More people were paying attention. So to watch them go from college and these highly anticipated finals and then to the draft and then seemingly right from the draft, the season starts. The Olympics were in the middle of their season and then they had to come back and finish things up, which is why a lot of people kind of thought Vegas was tired because they had so many Olympians. So, I mean, I kind of get it. She's also got a lot of it is very fresh in her mind. So I could see why it feels
Olympic season, sure. Olympic season, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give you that. The Olympic season, that was a grind. Hell, it was exhausting to watch as a fan. I'll give you that. But in general, on a regular season, I don't know. We have to look at that.
I love this.
Like Jalen, like Drew Holiday and Derek White's and Jason Tatum, their schedule this year was pretty gnarly.
Right. They have a leg to stand on as far as toughest schedules anybody's had in the last year. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, prop party. Chandler, remember what you said. We're going to do yours. So I wanted to see the bar situation. Do we have? Okay, there we go. Here we go. Oh, they're shot glasses.
I recognize that from the. And it says wine tasting. Yeah, right, Mr.
So below, I think there's wine down there. So everywhere they would go, my parents, as memorabilia type of thing, they get a shot glass. So now wherever, like me and Haley just went to Bora Bora, we brought them back a shot glass. Like, it's just what we do. So they have like a whole wall. I don't even think they use them to drink out of, but they literally just have a whole wall of shot glasses from all around the world.
I'm coming over. I love that.
This is my type of vibe right here. I'm pulling up.
That's so funny.
My service wasn't that bad. Spots, clearly, so we got to get them some more because I see a couple spots that need shot glasses. So we're on it.
That's right. Lou, send. Can we get a Magic City one? Can we get a River one?
Listen, I can't wait. I can't wait to add to the collection. I got some good ones. For you.
Send them on over.
Yeah, on it. I've got my eye out now. I'm on it. All right, we got a little prop party. See if we can make some cash tonight. Chandler, what do you got? We got Lakers. We got Suns.
We got Lakers. We got Suns. We got Suns -3 tonight. Like we said, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, they're back. They are a completely different team with those two in the lineup. I think they're 6-1 together. And Tyus Jones, when he's good, they're also really good. He's the ultimate setup man, over 6.5 assists. Go ahead and book this one, Beats.
All right, booking it. Although I think Lou and I are conflicting.
Yep, I'm going the other way. I'm going Lakers money line, and mama, that man is in the building. I'm going LeBron James over 22.5. Easy money.
I like that too. I feel like that should be higher.
Easy. Yeah, no, I feel like that one's a good one. I have AD over on rebounds, 11.5, but I have Suns money line. So only one of us can be right, Lou. We shall see.
This song just gets me every time.
Gym Tan Laundry, we're bringing it back.
Party at the end of every show. It's gonna be a party from now on out. Invite me to the rave.
Tomorrow.